let's jump into the business side of it, because this is a lot of a area where a lot of producers stumble. Publishing, so
Hmm.
many producers are clueless about. They don't know if they need to get a manager. They don't need to. They don't know if they need to do Beatstars, Beat
Hmm.
Club, which is the new kid on the block.
Hmm.
They just don't know where to go with it. Like they can make beats, and that's pretty much where they're at. So they don't know about management, publishing, how publishing works, the splits, all that jazz. Is there any insight you could shine on them about that process of, do I need a manager? What does a manager do? Do I need to know about publishing? What does publishing do? What was your journey like, and what could you share for other people who might be trying to go through that?
So I think that in terms of if you're speaking about management, I believe a good man like you don't want to seek out a manager. I think a manager that is right for you will find you, or you will have cross paths already, and then like things will work out in that way. I don't believe in the chasing the manager thing, because at the end of the day the manager works for you, and they should want you to be the best like they should believe in you and want to you have be you to be the best producer that you can be. And so when you chase someone, you're convincing them to be like, yo, fuck with me because this. Like, it's like you're convincing them. I think the best situation for a manager is for them to already be convinced and be like, yo, you're incredible. I want to manage you. Like, I want to help you because I believe in what you're doing. And it's not because I've come to this person and been like, yo, I think that you can bring a lot of value to me, and let me tell you why. They should be like, yo, I can bring value to you and I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, you're the artist, you're the producer, you're the person that's doing this. So I think that's number one. Don't go chasing managers. They will come when the time is right. Publishing and like the whole business side of things is interesting. So off rip, if you produce a song, the artist should get 50% of the publishing and the producer should get 50% of the publishing. And then so the producer will then split that 50 with co-producers. Excuse me, if that applies. Um, and and then such and such. But like that is the general split. I don't care what anyone tells you. Like that is the standard. Master side is a different story, because once you've produced a record, and you've given it to the artist, you still own the master recording. So it's like the actual song. You own that still, or at least you own half of it. So if they're doing some bullshit, technically it's within your power to pull that song down. Like if they've put it on Spotify without paying you, or if you've agreed on something, it's within your power to pull that down. So you're not totally powerless until you've like signed an agreement saying, I'm handing over my master side to this artist in exchange for a certain royalty on the master of the song. Like, like it's like a whole thing that you get into. Um, but yeah, I think like when you negotiate things, don't let somebody tell you that 50-50 isn't standard, because that is the standard. The big people, like, everyone, the biggest artist, it's all 50-50, producer side, artist side. The artist splits it with the songwriters and, whoever else. Producers split it with the co-producers, and, that's the situation.
Um,
Um, yeah,
okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I was gonna say
No, go.
Sunny Digital had a thing a little while back. I don't know if you're following it, but about starting a producers union. So
Yeah.
I guess there's this lingering thought that producers are getting robbed, or they're not getting their just due, or everything is leaning against the producer winning.
There
So what's your take on that?
there is a lot of shit out there that like it's what it's just not against the producer. It's just that labels don't want to pay people. Like people are they don't want to give away money, and they want people to just like maybe sometimes get to the point where they're just so fed up of dealing with it, they're just like, fuck it, like I don't care anymore, like whatever, and then they keep the money. The producer union, I'm afraid, in my opinion, I haven't read too much about what he's saying, but I don't think it would work, because you would need um you would need every producer to be a part of it, because otherwise a label will just go to somebody that's not in this union who will work for cheaper because they want the opportunity, like they want the money, and just circumvent this union who's like, no, we're going to get paid such and such per track. We're doing all this. Like the label's going to be like, okay, well, we're just going to go someone that's not in the union who will take less money, who will do a very similar job or whatever. It'll work for whatever they're doing. And we don't got to deal with this union shit. So unless literally every producer's in this union, I don't think it's a thing because you're going to have, this person wanting this person's going to want to step on this person to, to get up here. Like that's how these guys are. That's how things work. So, it's like, you're going to have that as long as there's one person that's willing to step on somebody else to get up, in a place of, power, like to get that money, to get that credit, whatever. I don't think it's going to work. The most important thing for producers to have to not get fucked is a good lawyer, someone who believes in you, and good management that's going to negotiate for you on your behalf. I think if you don't have a manager or not yet, you got to just be like, yo, I need 50% of this. Well, like you got to just be firm and just argue for yourself and just negotiate for yourself and just know how to do it. And I think if you're just starting out, like you don't really need a manager if you're not really doing much. And that's not really your concern, like in terms of like, getting, thrown around and shit, like if you're just starting. But like when you get more into this, if you have a manager and, you're doing a big record, make sure you get a good lawyer to look it over, a good entertainment lawyer who knows what they're talking about, who's going to make sure that you're not getting, fucked, and a good manager that's going to negotiate on your behalf. And then that's really pretty much, or you negotiate if you don't have a manager, and that's pretty much all you can do. And a lot of times, like I found that people will offer like, a shitty deal or whatever the case is, and then as soon as you come back and be like, no, these aren't acceptable terms, like we want this and that, they're like, okay, like they're really just seeing if they can get away with it. And as soon as you're like, no, I want this, they're like, all right, fine, like whatever, it's not worth the fight.
Right.
And then it goes, people like, I don't want to lose my relationship with the artist. I'm like, bro, like half the time, most of the time, the artist doesn't know about any of these negotiations. Like it's not their job. They're there to make the music. They let the lawyers and the managers handle it. So you're not hurting nobody's feelings, unless you're being like super like, I want $10,000, and like they're like, you have no credits. Like this is one little song. Like it, if you're smart about things, it's no issue at all. Like the artist doesn't even know. So don't worry about the artist's feelings. Get what's yours. It's your career. Take it into your own hands.